In this video, we're going to be sharing with you a little bit different type of technique as regards to creating a rhinestone transfer. We're going to be doing a 3-color design. We're going to be using 2 templates, and we're going to be using this little contraption. I don't know, it's just kind of something I dreamt up one night, and I thought, well, it's just a little bit different way of working that I wanted to share with you. You've probably seen many demonstrations where you're using a sticky flock workstation. And instead, we don't use a sticky flock workstation. We actually just make our transfers right on this little cutting mat. So this is an 18 by 24 cutting mat. And all I did was take some of our Easy Flock template material, and I cut a strip and adhered it over here to the left and to the bottom edges. This corner right here, I made sure is perfectly square. And I did that with a carpenter square to make sure that it's perfectly square, because it's important that that is square. And then what I did was, is for our transfer tape here, I just used these 2 little binder clips you can pick up at any office supply store. And what that does is we don't have to worry about our transfer tape coming up off of whatever we stuck it to. You've probably seen demonstrations where they just stick it to a cutting mat or to the edge of your cookie sheet if you're working inside of a cookie sheet making your transfers. But this way, the transfer tape cannot come loose because the binder clips are holding it quite securely. So what we're going to do here is take our first template and talk a little bit about the science behind this cutting mat. Obviously, the cutting mat is yellow, and our Easy Flock is navy blue. Now, the Easy Flock actually comes in, I don't know, 16 colors, something like that. Usually I use blue, and I use yellow a lot, and I use orange. And so you can see all I'm doing is lining up our template with this corner. Now I'm actually have the template upside down for a reason. And let me show you why that is. So typically what you would do is you'd fill in all of your stones, right? And then you would take your second template and line it up with your first, right? Something like that. But here's the thing. If you're using 1-color template material, in this case, we're using smoked topaz. Well, smoked topaz on top of the navy blue here, the smoked topaz is a very dark stone, and so is this template material. So a lot of times we use a lighter template material. But if we take away this template, once we're done with it, and then we lay this one down in the corner, see, then we get our contrast back, right? So a lot of times when you're doing multicolor designs, it's sometimes helpful, especially when you're stacking templates, it's sometimes helpful to have 2 different colors for that color contrast. Because if I had even if I had an orange template on top of an orange template, it would be hard to see if there was a stone that wasn't filling one of the holes, okay? So, just food for thought. Let me just show you how this process works. So by having a common corner like this, I'll go ahead and place our template back down, and we'll begin the process of making our transfer. So what I did here for the outline, I'm using SS16 stones. So we're going to go ahead and just dump a wad on there. And then obviously we're just going to brush in our stones. Now, when you're using the right stones with the right template material, the right circle size for your templates, once you get all that dialed in, brushing in your stones is going to be really simple. Okay? If you're struggling, if your stones are not going in as easily as what's being demonstrated here, then obviously you got a problem. Something is not right. Either it's just the way the stone is manufactured because of the height of the stone compared to the thickness of your template can have an impact. And then, of course, your circle size and the stone size itself. Not all rhinestones are created equal. So that's a little bit of science you have to do in the beginning when you're first deciding on a stone vendor and so forth. But once you get it down, like I said, the stones come in pretty easily. Now these stones right here, these circles here are all SS10 size. So you will see that the SS16 stones do not fall into place in those circles. And of course, that's obviously what we want. The advantage, of course, to working with more than one stone size is the fact that we don't have to cut as many templates. That's one thing. This is being a 3-color design, we would normally have to cut 3 templates. But the other advantage, too, is when we're actually making the transfer, then it's just we only have to pick up stones twice versus picking up stones 3 times. And of course, the more times we have to pick up stones, the better the chance is that we get our alignment off or whatever the case might be. So it's just less time, less steps involved. Okay? So now that we have all of our green stones in place, now we can just move right on to our silver stones. I'm actually using silver as opposed to crystal for this particular example. So we'll just dump a good stack in there. And this really takes a bit of finesse, but not too much. Again, with the right stones and the right circle size, they should brush in fairly simple. So we're just going to use light pressure and go ahead and fill in these stones. And again, like I said, they'll fill in right side up with very little effort once you get everything dialed in right. One thing I don't like about these silver stones is it's sometimes hard to determine if a stone is upside down or not. But just a little bit of brushing in, not too bad. Don't worry about it. You can go over those SS16 stones. Just, again, use light pressure, and then you won't be, bouncing those stones out. Once they're in there pretty good. So if you use light pressure, you can brush over them without those extra stones coming out. Okay? So now we have all of our silver stones in place. So we'll just go ahead and brush these to the side. Get them out of the way. And now we're ready to go ahead and lift our first set of stones here. Oh, there's a couple extras. Get rid of those. All right, so that takes care of those extras. And now we can go ahead and put our transfer tape back down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, starting from the edge here. So there's our transfer tape. We'll go ahead and put that down. Now I do feel that there's a couple of extra green stones that are in there, but that's okay. We'll fix that up pretty easily. So there's that one right here. Go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll get rid of this one. So those are 2 extra green stones that we had. So we'll go ahead and put that back down. And then see where there's that hole right there that was created? What we're going to do is we're just going to use kind of the end of our fingers here to push that stone right back into place. And there's an extra stone right there. So we'll go ahead and pick this one up. And we're going to figure out where it needs to be here. So let's go ahead and move that there. Again, see when those little mishaps happen, see that hole there? So we just take the end of our finger and push that stone back into place. Now this hole right here, we're actually missing a stone. So let's go ahead and put that right back into place there. So now, look at our design here. Okay, so we have an extra stone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. This is good that you're seeing this because sometimes, little mishaps are a good thing. So I just kind of hand placed it, and now I'm just going to put it back in there. All right, so now I know that all those stones are like they should be now. Now I can focus on getting all these silver stones picked up, and there you have it, okay? And those little mishaps are the types of things that you guys are going to run into as well. So it's good that we show that. Everything is the way it should be, and now we can move on to our second color. Now for the second color, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this template off entirely. Normally, you would stack templates, but in this type of setup, we're not going to stack templates. We're going to go ahead and just position our second template right into place here. Okay, again, we're lining up to the same corner, So now we can take our smoked topaz and we'll dump. I got a little aggressive there with our stones, but that's okay. So then again, we're just going to kind of go over, and you see how easy the stones are to fill in. And that's how it's supposed to work. We're not supposed to have to manually place any stones. Okay. So you can see all those are all nicely filled in, just like so. Okay. And again, the nice thing is it's really easy to see that all those stones are filled in because of the contrast of the yellow cutting mat that we're using as kind of our workstation for this example. So I'll just brush those stones kind of out of the way, up the top there. And then we'll go ahead and line these up. Now, because the first template was lined up to this corner, the way we've created the weed boxes for you, as long as we're lined up to the same corner, these two templates should line up perfectly. So when we go back to pick up our second set of stones, you're going to see that this template lines up absolutely perfectly. And we'll just take our finger along there, pick up all those stones. You could use your brush too if you wanted to. So you could use your brush with a little bit of pressure. That's okay too. Just go over that. And then you should be able to pick all those stones up. Now, you see where there's a couple that aren't picked up? Just take your finger, push. See there? That takes care of that. See those all along there? So just take your finger and just run it along there. Run along those edges. And just a little dab right there. There's one there. So just push it down with your finger and it'll lift right up on your tape. So then we'll go ahead and pull this template off just to show you the finished product. And so there is your finished transfer. You can see all the different colors lined up perfectly. And I hope you enjoyed this video, learned a little something, even with my little mishaps with the outline stones. It was good to see because you can make those little mishaps and get everything put back into line very, very easily and get everything back together. So this is a nice process to use if you want to save time on production time, not having just one stone size and being able to cut down on your templates. And certain templates, now this is a 3-color design that we did in 2 templates, but in other templates you may only have 2 colors, and it would sure be nice to work with just one template instead of having to cut 2 if at all possible. So again, I hope you enjoyed this one and learned a little something. Thanks for watching.